And welcome to the Bots podcast. I'm Chazzy, and with me is the lovely Mr. Dan Clark. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you, man. And we've got a bit of an important announcement. You may have seen the Jeff Keighley story, all you folks at home.
Yes.
We've got an exclusive sponsorship deal with Asda Smart Price tortilla chips and Panda Pops.
Yep.
So, no Doritos and Mountain Dew for us. We're going hardcore.
Get yourself down there right away.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got like bucket loads of it all in our houses. Like our front rooms are just loaded with the stuff.
I've made a sofa out of mine.
Out of the tortilla chips or the Panda Pops?
Both. The Panda Pops are the actual legs, and then the tortilla chip bags are like the sofa cushions.
Good stuff. So
Yeah,
you know the tortilla chips you get at the bottom of the bag, the sort of smashed up ones? I was going to try and make a bean bag out of those, maybe.
Yeah, it's a good idea, mate. Good idea.
Yeah.
But I might be a bit rustly, but Yeah.
Well, only for the first few sits. And then it will sort of bed in. It'll be all right.
Superb.
Anyway, where were we going there? So who's been playing what? Who's going to go first?
I'll go first, mate, if you want.
Cool. What you been playing, man?
Basically, I had a week off for my birthday, and ended up getting tons of games, which was lovely, which is always nice. It's like October, all the games come out, and I get to just say to people, right, just get me this. So I don't have to pay for them, and I get a big flood of games coming. It's brilliant.
That's pretty good timing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wicked. So first game I had a quick go on was Sleeping Dogs.
Yep.
Yeah, so I know you were chatting about wanting to play that back in, God, what episode was that?
Yeah, well, ages ago I really wanted to play it, and then I played the demo and got a bit apprehensive. So yeah, it'd be nice to know what you think.
Yeah, it's this is going to sound really, really kind of reductive, but it is like a very, very good GTA 4, basically. It seems really horrible to just say, oh, it's just like a Grand Theft Auto game, job done, right, move on. But it's really well done. It's really, really solid, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing about it that's bad or wrong. But it just seems, to me, it just rubs me up the wrong way a little bit, It's like, there just seems to be that little something, that little spark that's kind of missing from it.
Oh,
Right?
interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, it didn't capture my imagination, right? And I just don't know why. Like Saints Row, sort of caught me. Like they're all open world games, aren't they? So like Saints Row really caught me with it's just wackiness, and it was just like, right, we're just going to do anything, and it was completely bonkers. So it
was like the old GTA's taken to the nth degree.
Yeah, you're always driven on because you just want to see how far they've pushed like the next mission or the next silly scenario.
Yeah.
Right, and then like with GTA 4, it was so, I want to say cinematic, but do you know what they've the way they tell a story is very...
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like the kind of, it's microscopic scope in terms of story, and then macroscopic in terms of scale. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And it just like, and it's all very knowing, and it's kind of quite cheeky, and there's nods and winks, and it's very
sort of referential. Nearly every line is a reference to like some old gangster film or something.
Absolutely. And with Sleeping Dogs, like they've got this. It's a good story, and it's well acted, and it's it's interesting, but it's not done to that like you say, microscopic degree.
Yeah, not quite enough detail in the places you want it.
Yeah. It's like you're chatting away to a guy, and it's just, hi, I'm Ricky. I've got jobs for you. Oh, really, Ricky? Oh, I might ring you about those. Okay. And then you get in the car, and then Ricky rings you and says, here are those jobs. And that's, whereas in GTA 4, they would have stretched that out over like 3 or 4 missions and tied it in and woven.
You would have had to earn their respect, maybe, or
exactly.
By doing a mission for something else that they were along with.
Some missions are like that, like at the start, you've got a guy who doesn't trust you, and shouldn't be giving spoilers away, but and they do stuff like that. But then like there's other missions they just like sort of throw at you willy-nilly without really kind of any real attempt to kind of weave it into the story too much. And I just found it, I don't know, like I said, I found it was just so much like GTA. It was like they'd made a brilliant game for 2008 when Grand Theft Auto came out, and it's like, right, we've tacked on the Batman fighting system, and we've kind of tacked on all these other little bits, and like the leaderboards for like, do the cleanest drive or the longest jump and all those kind of things that Rockstar's done, and they've just done a really, 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 really well done like facsimile And
But
that's
sadly
what
now it's like 4 years later. So.
yeah, it just felt like, well, I've been here before, and you're just telling me a slightly different story, and you know, you're not really.
It's interesting because from the demo, I assumed it was a very detailed game from the aesthetic. Because visually, the detail it's quite astonishing.
Yeah, it is, and it's like the city's so dense and to the point of being confusing. Because at least with like some of the other open world games, they're slightly more spread out, so you can get an idea in your head of layouts of roads. But because it's, you know, trying to take that sort of Chinese back streets, you know, aesthetic, there's so many little runs and, you know, alleyways and stuff that you just it feels confusing, and you can't get like a layout in your mind. And you know, I sort of pop out into an area that I've recognised, and it's like, oh my god, I know where I am now after like 20 minutes of driving.
If all works out, you know, you said Chinese backstreets.
Yeah.
It made me think, I wonder if there's a Chinese Backstreet Boys tribute band. So if there is, hopefully their music will be running underneath that little bit. I'm going to try and find it for you on YouTube.
Superb. This game, like I said, I'd recommend people pick it up because it's going to be, I think it rubbed me up the wrong way. I think other people may find it a bit more up their alley, as it were. But yeah, it was weird. It just got to the point where it was starting to annoy me a little bit. Like the guy gets on his motorbike. I know it's just really stupid things, really stupid things. Like the guy gets on his motorbike, and magically he pulls his motorcycle helmet out from underneath the mud guard behind him, and it's like that mud guard is way too small for that helmet to come out of. So you've got like this magic motorbike helmet.
It's like a TARDIS of a mudguard.
Yeah, it's weird. You know, it's like, right, how and where did that come from? That's just suddenly popped into life. And like when he gets off his bike, he just throws it and it disappears into the ether, you know, and stuff like that.
Is it possibly the setting that you're not gelling with as much
No,
as well?
I quite like the setting. It's quite nice. You know, it's refreshing to be like on the right side of the road for once. And it does seem a little bit weird that no one uses, like, it's kind of explained away, but like that no one uses handguns, and like, you know, you play for like a few hours before you even see a gun, or even like, you know, you're up against them.
Do they get like invented as part of the plot?
Yeah, sort of. It's
Guns
kind
have been invented.
Yeah, sort of. But like, yeah, I mean, there's just loads of weird stuff like car alarms. Like, I don't know if this happens in GTA, but like, you know when you used to like walk up to a car, you break into a car, the alarm goes off.
Yeah.
Right. And then like you just get in the car and you're driving along with the alarm going.
Yeah.
Right. And then you get out of the car and the alarm's still going. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, in this, if you break the door window, the alarm goes off. You get in the car, get straight back out of the car again. The alarm just magically turns itself off. You just jump back in the car and drive away. And it's like, well, what's the point of having the alarm go off?
That's not very security conscious, is it, of the alarm makers?
But it's like, you know, no one's going to hear you or see you do it. Like, you know, the police aren't going to hear you the alarm go off, because you just get in, get out, get in again. Job done.
You've got me wondering what happens in GTA now, because what I think happens is they just switch off after a time. Would that be right?
Yeah. Well, this doesn't even do that. You can just jump in, jump out, jump in again. Job done. And it's just like, oh, what's the point of even having it there then?
But then if the police aren't going to react to it anyway, then I suppose it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, these are all really minor niggles, because it has like the actual fighting stuff is really nice.
Yeah.
You know, like having to, and like there's another bit in it where you're having to like hack CCTV cameras and like stake out these like drug drop areas. So you go in and it's got one of the best hacking little mini games on the CCTV cameras that I've ever played. Where it's just a series of, I think it's like 4 digits, and then it gives you X amount of attempts to work out, like it's 0 to 9.
Like Mastermind.
Yeah, exactly like that. And yeah,
you've sold it to me on that, because I love Mastermind.
It's brilliant. I really like it. It's just kind of difficult enough that you have to take a few attempts, but it's not overly complicated where you want to like throw your controller through the screen, because it's just like, I have no idea what this is, you know, what I'm doing here. You know, it's just that, right, it's a really nice balance on that of kind of puzzle and fun, you know. So yeah, that was really cool. What else was there? And then there was like missions where it like sends you one way, like you mentally you're going one way with the narrative, and then it completely throws you for a loop. And so, oh right, so my decision that I made was actually not the right decision, and kind of they're doing some nice stuff in there. It's just like I said, it felt too samey to me to really capture my imagination and really sort of make me want to drive on, like, carry on through the game. So
yeah,
it's a shame because it's really, really well made, really well made.
I wonder if that's why we don't see quite so many sandbox games towards this tail end of the generation. I always thought it's because they're like so costly to make, but maybe we are all a bit burnt out on.
The thing that it made me think is that you've got GTA 5 coming up, and am I getting to the stage now where I'm kind of finding those kind of games quite passé?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, can they do enough to really make me want to kind of drive around a big open world again and go searching for this and, you know, do all the standard tropes?
Do you think you will with GTA 5?
I don't know if let's be honest with you. I'll be totally honest with you. Now I've played Sleeping Dogs, I don't know whether I would put up with the gunplay being so bad and the kind of melee stuff being so bad in a GTA game. And I was quite
reckon they'll have improved on that? Will they finally have got it right?
I'm hoping they have, but
although we've been saying that since about 2001 or 2 with GTA 3, I suppose.
I mean, it's done, that stuff is done so well in Sleeping Dogs that, like, to go back to that old GTA way of doing it would really feel wrong nowadays. So yeah, it's a weird one because we've heard so little about it. You never hear much about them anyway. But yeah, it's gonna. That's
be kind really of part of the mystique, though, isn't it? It's the whole Rockstar thing. Like, you know, they're not going to put out a bad game.
No.
Like, although a lot of people seem to think GTA 4 is bad nowadays. Like, yeah. It's like everyone's had this, I don't know, like, not quite an epiphany moment, but like, I don't know, everyone seems to hate on GTA 4 now. Like, yeah, I can see that it's not the perfect game, but
of its time, it was very good.
Yeah, definitely. But then people are saying, "Oh no, the reviews totally overrated it." But I guess, but we all fall into that Rockstar trap. Like, that's kind of what I was getting at. Is that but they have so much mystique around their games, yet with kind of a lack of hype. It's the lack of hype that becomes the hype that we all buy into it, don't we? I think so.
Yeah, totally. Oh yeah, so that was Sleeping Dogs basically, and then what else have I played? Got a copy of Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so I've been looking forward to that because I've played through, I think, all of them now except for one, which I thought was horrible. But yeah, Assassin's Creed 3, really loving the, like, this is going to sound after my Game Burst thing about talking about graphics and how great graphics were. It's absolutely stunning to look at. And the art direction is quite impressive.
Yeah.
You know, there's some stuff there where occasionally you sort of catch yourself and go, oh wow, this is like almost next gen type stuff. You know, it looks stunningly beautiful. But I'm having real issues with, like, it looks great and it handles like Assassin's Creed, but I'm having real like, there's a lot of fit and finish. Like, you know, like they say on Top Gear where they go, this car's amazing, but I'm having problems with the fit and finish. The dashboard's, you know, tinny and made of plastic. And it's like, they're doing some great stuff with the levels and, like, switching up stuff. And, like, I don't really want to give it away, but there's certain sections in it that are like, wow, like, I wouldn't expect this in an Assassin's Creed game. But then it falls flat when I'm, like, riding along on a horse and the guy's cape has clipped all the way through the side of the horse and it looks like they've guillotined him with a cloak. And it's like, or like I'm fighting a guy on a boat and all of a sudden I hit him and he glitches from one side of the boat all the way to the other side and he's stood up on a barrel, like, waving his arms in the air. So I then run over to, like, knock him off the barrel and he's completely invincible. And, like,
so it's just those little details that set apart the great games from the very good games.
Yeah, but it's all over. It's like it's got the most complicated menu system, or it seems really unintuitive. You're using the left stick to select what item you want to look at, and then you're using the like on the map. You're using the left stick to get to the map, and then you're using the right stick to navigate around the map.
Oh, loads of games do that, I think. But I always find that annoying. But
what I find myself doing is, like, I go to click on the map, but I don't have to click the A button. I've got to, you know, just flick it to the next menu thing that says map, and that's it. It's there, and it's all it. So I'm hitting A, which is activating something, and it just feels really like. I mean, maybe it's just me and me being a complete plum, but like I'm just forever. I feel like I'm all fingers and thumbs with it, and it, you know, like to find a certain thing on the map, I've got to flick down to the next. You know, the next bit of the legend, and right, this is where the missions are, and right, this is where the. And I was just like, it was driving me bonkers. So I just did away with that in the end and just tried to like kind of wing it.
So is that side of it worse than Assassin's Creed 2 was?
Yeah, not very much so. Assassin's Creed 2 like was just, if they'd have just had that sort of map system dropped in, it would have been perfect for me. But like, I mean, this is me. Like, I'm niggling over little things because like there's some great stuff in there. Like there's a whole introduction section where you're in like a theatre and you're like running like where it's trying to, you know, tutorialize you into how you do certain things, and like it's done really well and it's really woven into the story as like all the Assassin's Creed games are, and you're just like, oh, they've done this really well. And now they've obviously like with the kind of because you know the new thing is like running about in the trees and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, a bit more freedom to the movement, is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And the way they've introduced that, and the way that, and like there's a whole hunting system, and the way they introduce that, it fits so well, and you just think, oh, this is brilliant. This is just flowing really nicely. But then, you know, like they say, oh, okay, go and do such and such, and then I can't actually access it because it's glitched out, and it's like, oh, this is driving me bonkers. You're telling such a great story, and you're doing all these things that are really, really nicely done and woven in and stuff, but it's tripping over itself, and it's like, you know, it's just driving. Yeah, like I say, like all these little glitches and stuff are just driving me mental. And I know it shouldn't, because I should just, you know, rise above it and just go, oh well, you know, they'll patch it out or whatever. But yeah, it's really, really, really difficult to kind of, you know, look past at the moment.
Seems like you've had a buggy old week.
Yeah, especially with that like Need for Speed picture as well, like with two cars stacked on top of each other that I put on Twitter.
Yeah,
but yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's quite funny. But there's a brilliant bit where like basically you play Connor as a child in his tribe.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say about that.
Yeah.
Sorry to completely interrupt, man.
That's all right.
But I saw a bit on telly about that today, and it made me think when you were Ezio. Yeah. And it was a baby, and you had to like nod your head, left hand, right hand, legs. And then in this one, it's like they've taken that idea and pushed it into a whole prologue.
Yeah, totally. And it's
so what's it like?
Oh, it's brilliant. Like the way it's you and your friends, and you all go off and play hide and seek. And yeah, you all go off and play hide and seek, and you've got to like track. Like there'll be clues on the floor, and then you'll kneel down next to it, and it will track them, and it will bring the sphere of where they
Destiny.
are. Yeah, it'd basically bring the sphere of influence down, so it'd be like, right, they're in this area, and then you look at the clue, and then that brings it down to a slightly smaller area, then you find another clue, and that brings it down to a slightly smaller area.
Oh, excellent.
And then you find them, and then that is actually feeding into the hunting system of, like, you find clues, and it says, right, there's a deer over here, and then you track it down to the point where you can go off and kill it.
And then clever.
Yeah, and then like with the like running in the trees, they've got the they go through a whole thing of, oh yeah, let's try and get to these eagle feathers and don't touch the ground. So it's teaching you to run about in the trees and jump over stuff, and you're supposed to be like really good at doing it, and you're teaching your friend. So you're going, oh well, you just jump over here and you jump over there, and then you watch him do the same thing, and then he falls off, and you have to run back and go and get him. And
yeah.
You know, it's just teaching you, right, well, if you get to this type of tree, it does that. And if you go to this type of branch, you can jump off in this direction. And, you know, it's just interwoven into like what you would expect, you know, like two young, Native Americans trying to, learn how to hunt and fish and, like I say, use their environment.
And also, I suppose that's just building up the character to, like, so that you feel part of his life by the time you get to the later part of the game, I suppose.
Yeah, totally. But like all through this, he's doing this. What was making me laugh is he's doing this like voiceover. He's going, I remember talking to Huaraba and saying to him that today was a really good day, and it was like, wow, this is just like the Wonder Years, like he's just
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, he's sort of narrating over himself, and it's like,
then I was in the American Civil War, and
Yeah, it was weird. I was expecting like Winnie to pop out at any moment and like be his love interest.
Bless.
Yeah, but like I said, like the whole prologue of basically I've just got to the end of that prologue.
Yeah.
And it's very well done. It's very, very well done. So I'm really it's really intrigued me for like what's coming later on in the game.
Now we all know it's like a little bit flawed compared to the main game. Are you interested in the Vita one at all still, or?
I'm interested. Problem is with it is that I'm interested in the Vita one, but because I've got the main one, it's like, do I need two lots of the same thing?
Yeah, especially when it's a slightly lesser experience.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a follow-on story, like it's a kind of concurrent story and stuff. But like you say, it's a very similar experience, and I don't know whether it's just going to overload me with Assassin's Creed. Like I'm hearing like people going, "Oh well, I've got to play through like Brotherhood and Revelation, like Brotherhood and Revelations to then get to 3." Yeah. It's like, don't do that because you're going to burn yourself out and you're going to hate running and jumping over things.
I get burnt out from playing an hour of Assassin's Creed 2, so
yeah,
I
exactly.
totally understand.
So yeah, if playing playing Liberation and then on the train at work and then coming home and then doing another few hours of Assassin's Creed 3, I think I'm just going to like get to the point where I'm like, don't want to run or jump over anything ever in a game ever.
Also, I'm guessing you're playing it on 360?
Yes, I am.
So again, if you played it on the Vita, you're going to miss out on that extra crossover anyway, aren't you? So.
Yeah, totally. So what have you been playing then, man?
I've been playing a lot of... I had a bit of a Halloween thing, so I thought I'm going to play Mortal Kombat on the Vita. I know it's not a survival horror game, but it's gory. It's like an 80s slasher flick turned into a fighting game, So so that's been my main game for the past couple of weeks. I never thought I'd enjoy it quite so much. I should have listened at the time when the reboot first released on the PS3 and 360.
Yeah.
And everyone was saying, wow, this is like a really good fighting game.
Yeah.
Not just it's good for a Mortal Kombat game, but it's actually a good game. And I probably should have listened at the time. But then I'm quite glad I didn't, because the Vita version has got like all of the DLC and then all of this extra stuff crammed in as well. So maybe I did well by waiting on that. Now I've finished the story mode, which is surprisingly good. Like fighting games, the story is usually you get a little cutscene at the beginning and then a little one at the end.
Yeah.
Like say Tekken and Street Fighter. In some cases you don't even get one at the beginning. You just start a fight, and then at the end it's got some little bit of story that relates to nothing you've seen for the rest of the game. But with Mortal Kombat, it starts you out as a character and then leads you through the entire stories of Mortal Kombat 1, 2 and 3. Slightly retconned, I guess just to stop themselves tripping over their own feet more than anything else. They've taken the 3 stories from the original trilogy, and then you play as like the characters from the first game through that part of the story, and it keeps swapping which character you're playing. Like say you'll be Johnny Cage, and then there'll be a point where he meets up with a certain character, and then you take over as that character from there. And
so is this like a best of Mortal Kombat?
It really is, man. In Street Fighter 4 was kind of a throwback to Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
Now this playability wise, this is a lot like Mortal Kombat 2. Like it hasn't got all the running and stuff that they tried to put into the third one. It feels like the equivalent of Street Fighter 4, but with Mortal Kombat 2, where they've gone back to like their best game of the trilogy and
sort of cherry picked all the bits that they think are the best bits. And
and then like it really is the best of. In terms of the story, like the trilogy actually works as a whole. Again, I don't know if that's because of the retconning and because they've made it work.
Yeah.
But it just made me think, wow, you guys did actually know what you were going on about all that way back then. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fascinating me. The story mode, it just kept me hooked. Though there's the cutscenes, you've got the graphics that look just like the the current gen versions. But then it goes into the fighting mode, and then it cuts down to sort of PS2 and a half type character models.
Yeah.
So it's slightly jarring when that happens, but again, it did draw me out of the whole thing.
So, how are you finding playing it? Are you playing it on the nubs or are you playing it on the D-pad?
I'm using the D-pad. Although
gotcha.
for some certain moves and challenges, I'm using the nub just because it
Right.
flicks better for a sort of fireball move.
Are you having any kind of issues with the controls on the Vita, or are you?
No.
Yeah.
It controls so nicely.
Nice.
It feels better than, say, Street Fighter 4 on a 360 pad.
Oh, right, okay.
The Vita's got almost a kind of fighting pad kind of
Setup.
not even the setup, just the directness of the control.
Right, okay.
I think that maybe that's partly because the screen is in the middle of the pad that it makes you think that. Because I remember finding the same thing about the PSP when I used to play, say, Street Fighter on the Mega Drive, but on the PSP. It always felt more direct than a Mega Drive pad. So maybe that's just me being fooled by the screen being part of the controller.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it controls beautifully. It's so fluid, and the combos and the animation, it just all feels so right. I don't know, I probably sound like I'm like
I was going to say this sounds like it's really, really caught you, man.
Yeah, it really has. I think it's because I didn't expect it, and then I got it quite cheap, and I traded in 3 crappy-ish 360 games for it, and so maybe I just wasn't expecting much because I didn't have all of the hype, and it's a year and a half after it launched on the main consoles.
Right.
So I think it's partly that it's just such a pleasant surprise.
So when you eventually get your PS3, do you reckon you'll go back and grab a copy of the big boy game?
To be fair, I can't really see the point.
Really?
Other than the only difference is going to be the graphics in the.
So you think that this will be enough for you to like sort of tide you over and give you that kind of right? That's my Mortal Kombat like kick.
Yeah, definitely. Until the next one releases on, who knows whether it's going to be the next gen or the current gen. But yeah, I mean, it's the entire game. It's everything that was in the PS3 version, plus more. Like, did you hear about the Challenge Tower?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
They had similar things in the games on like the PS2 and the GameCube and the original Xbox, where there's like certain challenges you have to do, like you're not allowed to use punches or you can't block and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, there's a massive challenge tower that was in the original console versions, which has made it over to the Vita, but then there's an entire Vita exclusive challenge tower as well, which is half the size.
Nice.
So you're kind of getting like 50% extra again.
Nice. Bonus.
Yeah, complete bonus. And you get things like, say, Cyrax, who fires out the missiles.
Yeah.
You have to play a normal Mortal Kombat fighting match, but then he'll send up missiles into the air, and you have to tap on the screen to, like, get rid of them.
Oh, right, okay.
Like, that's not part of the actual main game. Obviously, that would make it really annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, people don't like touch screen controls intruding too much.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But the fact that they've made this whole extra section where they can sort of experiment with the touchscreen interface and just have it for like one round, or like say use it a few times throughout the whole town.
Just to switch it up and give you something a bit different. Yeah,
and so in the original game you got the challenge tower of like 300 challenges, and then the extra 150 is just massive. Do you know what I mean? It's just a huge package of stuff, and then they've built in a version of Fruit Ninja, but with body parts that come on the screen.
No, okay, fair enough.
Like arms and bits of leg and stuff like that. But again, it's just very generous. I don't know, very few games feel like that. And when they do, I think that's when I really like a game. Maybe it's because I'm a bit of a pikey. That,
you want to try and get the most bang for your buck, yeah?
Yeah, but it really is. And it knows that it's doing that. And it just keeps sort of throwing all this stuff at you. Like, again, generosity. The Crypt. Did you play any of the games that have had the Crypt? Like, I think Armageddon and like Deadly Alliance and all of those have.
I think the last one I played was MK versus DC.
Yeah, I don't think that had it, but like the games previous to it did, weirdly. Because like MK versus DC was a bit bare bones, wasn't it?
Yeah, really, very much so.
But although the story mode is a lot like the new Mortal Kombat, again, where you like play, say, Superman for a few rounds and then
it sort of just zooms in and I'm playing.
Yeah, other than the change in the character models, like I said.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Where you're playing like different characters throughout the story mode, rather than picking one at the start and playing through their sort of arc. But yeah, you've got this crypt, which is a massive graveyard, and each gravestone is, say, a piece of concept art, or one of the tunes that you can listen to in the sound test, or like a new fatality, new costumes, and that kind of thing. And there's like hundreds and hundreds of these things to unlock.
Nice.
It's
always giving you a reason to keep going.
Yeah, it's giving you reasons to keep going, and it keeps giving you more to keep you coming back. Like, I know that's the same thing, isn't it? But
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like constantly sort of like dangling the carrot.
Yeah.
It's just a perfect carrot game with hardly any stick. Yeah.
Nice.
And, the brutality of it. Like, I remember at the time the developers were saying, like, it's the most violent game of all time, and I thought, well, you've said that for every Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah.
But then, not even just the finishing moves. Some of the X-ray moves. Do you remember that being hyped?
Yeah, very much.
It
so.
sort of zooms in onto the rib cage, and you see it like kind of snap and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was sort of ripped in from like, what was it, like Backbreaker or something. Like, there was like an American football game that did it, and then they just moved that tech over into Mortal Kombat, didn't they?
Yeah, and those moves are frightening. Some of them really make me wince. It's like I actually find myself sort of bringing the Vita closer to my face as you go, like,
so yeah,
like shaking with actual, like. See, I'm not a big person for like real life violence, and I know this is on a video game, but it has that feel just because of the bone crunching sounds, and like, even though the graphics are a little bit rubbish in the fighting bit, when it zooms in, you're just getting all this horrible detail, and it's this game's really knocked me for 6. I'm like, I'm quite amazed how much I've liked it.
I've just gone and fact checked, and it was Blitz the League that the X-ray moves were in.
Ah, wow, that's a forgotten game, surely, isn't it?
Yeah, totally, man, totally. So yeah, it was good. It was good for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would have nicked that, I suppose, after Midway had gone bankrupt as well. Would that be right?
Yeah, about that.
Interesting that, like, because Midway went bankrupt, and then Mortal Kombat has obviously carried on development from there. It's nice that they've managed to keep that bit rather than someone saying, actually, that belongs to us.
We own that.
It's gone into administration. We're the receivers. Like, I'd love it if part of that game belonged to the receivers.
Just in the credits.
Yeah. I'd forgotten how good the characters are and the atmosphere. Do you know what I mean? Like, every character is a standout character. Other than like a lot of the ninjas look the same, but
well, Jason Willie don't.
Oh yeah, fair point. They're different. Although they didn't make it in, I'm hoping they're going to like be released as DLC at some point before Christmas.
Yeah,
but yeah, just the whole thing is sort of brought me back in love with Mortal Kombat. And the weird is, I didn't even love it that much as a kid. Like, I liked the first one quite a lot. The second one I did love, and then the third one,
it always seemed like a bit of an American phenomenon. The Mortal Kombat thing, you know, it was big over here, but everyone was more Street Fighter nutty.
Yeah,
you know.
And to be fair, I think in the States they were as well, but obviously it's got a very American feel, hasn't it? So.
Yeah, very much so. But it's a weird one because, like, you saying that, it just seems like they've just gone, right, sod it. This is one last kind of big hurrah. We're going to do this on the PlayStation, do this on the Vita, and all of a sudden it's picked up and people have really gotten into it and gone, oh my god, this is like how I would want a next or current gen Mortal Kombat game, and they've kind of all of a sudden hit this gold mine and gone, brilliant, we can make some more now, fantastic, you know.
Well,
it's really nice to see.
Same as happens with Capcom. Like, the Street Fighter series was in doldrums for years until Street Fighter 4, and by basically ripping off Street Fighter 4 but jamming in loads of content, it's like they've found their own version of that. Also, there's a cliffhanger ending, so it does look. Okay. I think there's going to be a sequel that will carry on with the games that people didn't like so much, but that maybe the creators like the story and they still want to tell that. So
just keeping the door open.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're going back and like retelling a story that, for all intents and purposes, only really ended at the very tail end of the last generation. Even the Wii had one of the Mortal Kombat games on it.
No,
and so that story is only from a few years ago, but they're still wanting to retell it. It's
odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like Ed Boon just will not drop it. It's like, no, I've still got to make more Mortal Kombat. Must make more.
You know? See, after Mortal Kombat versus DC, I would think, Ed, just shut up. Go back to your room. Go and sit in the corner. But having played this, it's like, you're right, actually. You have built up this sort of mythos and this universe that all gels together and all kind of makes sense in this horrible, surreal, nonsensical way. So yeah, like, well done to him, man, for like carrying on with the project for like over 20
sticking with it. Yeah, man.
And then I've only just delved into this since finishing Mortal Kombat, but I've gone back to Mirror's Edge because I suddenly realised there's a Kane and Rince episode on it that I haven't listened to. So I thought, right, I really want to hear that. So I'm going to go back and try and like finish the game so I can download the podcast.
Hopefully, what you're going to say now doesn't completely contradict everything they say on there.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Yeah, that's I'm not going to say, oh, the level design's dreadful. What a horrible game. No, I'm not going to say much about it because I've already droned on about Mortal Kombat for ages. But oh my freaking god, the level design in Mirror's Edge is incredible.
Superb. Yeah, it's superb, isn't it?
I don't even know what it's doing. Like, you know, in Zelda or Mario, where you'll have a choice of, say, 3 paths, and you'll end up having taken the right one.
Yeah, you just instinctively know.
Signposting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then Mirror's Edge, it's like it's got dozens of rooftops that I could have gone to.
Yeah.
And yet, I'll run for like 2-3 minutes. And yet, this isn't even thinking about, you know, when you get the red places that you're supposed to run to.
Yeah.
There'll be whole sections without anything red. I didn't realise that. As you get further into the game, the red becomes fewer and farther between.
Exactly.
And you'll end up running for minutes at a time, and you'll be in exactly the right place.
Yeah, you'll always be funneled back to the right area, you know, the right little section.
Yeah, and, without too much wandering around and wondering what you're supposed to do. It just again, the flow of it.
But also it flows well, but it's also a matter of that at that speed that you're picking up on these little cues that you don't necessarily like, you know, even consciously take in.
You know, I want to go back and play like the level I've just done.
You almost want to like walk back through it, but slowly.
Yeah. Watch yourself play it back and say, so why did I know to do that? And
yeah, what's pointing me in this direction? What made me jump over this thing as opposed to slide under that thing, or you know?
Yeah, or go like left where I could have gone right, and then I went right after that when I could have gone left, and so on and so on.
left, right.
Crazy game. Really enjoying it. I can see why people are clamouring for the sequel now. Yeah. Although I suppose DICE are now like in the whole EA Battlefield machine, aren't they? So
how did you play through it? Did you? I mean, how far have you got in it?
At the moment, I think I've just done the 3rd mission. Now, I got the game when I first got my 360, because I don't know if it still is, but it was like sort of 3 or 4 quid.
Yeah, it's like silly money now.
Yeah, like, and so I just picked it up when I first got my 360. I just got a stack of games that were 3 quid each. So I got my 360 very late. I don't know if I said that before, but I only got it like a couple of years ago, I suppose. Like,
oh right, okay.
Maybe 2009, I think. So I missed out on like 3 years worth of games. So it's quite nice to sort of just go in and magpie them for a couple of quid.
I swear I've said this before, but like I started playing through it, and then realised that I wasn't having fun grabbing the weapons and stuff. So I just stopped that playthrough, went back, and then started playing through it as a no guns run. And I found that so much more entertaining and made so much more of the game for me, because it added an air of tension.
At the moment, I don't know how I could have done what I've done without using the weapons. So what I might do is start a new game on the cloud saves.
Yeah.
Like, don't let it to access the hard drive. And then try it and see what you mean. Because, I'm quite interested to do that. Because there's points where I think, how could I have done that without a weapon? But again, I guess that's the whole point, that it's turning it into an extra puzzle.
Yeah, you're getting an extra puzzle on top of the one that they're showing you.
I mean, obviously it's not a shooter, but there's certain points where I've felt compelled just by like 3 blokes all being on top of me at once to do the grabbing their gun thing. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I say, it's one of my favourite games of all time, just because of, like you say, the way that it funnels you and the way that, you know, it's making you do things with a controller that you've not necessarily ever done before, or like controlling a character in ways that you had never controlled a character before.
Yeah,
that moment, you know, and it was just so fresh, and it just I loved it. And I know, like you were saying to me earlier, like that the levels were a bit stark, and I can see that putting people off.
Yeah, I think it did when I first bought the game. I had all like I say, I had a stack of games, and there was this one where it looked beautiful to me. Don't get me wrong, it's a lovely looking game, but I had all of these experiences from this generation that I hadn't explored, and Mirror's Edge, it's my bad, but I put it on the back burner just because it was sort of a little empty, I suppose is the word, maybe. I don't know. And that's the whole point. I can understand I got that completely wrong, and I knew at the time that I shouldn't be doing this, but yeah.
In my head, I'd always kind of pictured it as like a kind of Logan's Run 70s kind of sci-fi stark white plastic. It wasn't. It was that kind of world. So that's just where I was sort of my own little meta narrative in my head of I was going with it. So it kind of sort of made sense, and it didn't feel empty in that respect.
I see what you mean, because it's kind of got almost like a Tron Res Pac-Man feel, but with fully filled-in graphics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, with all the gaps like filled in.
Yeah, or like the Matrix. Do you know what I mean? When they put a filter over the cities and stuff, so that that this isn't real as such, or
they just drop you in.
Yeah. But the massive downside to me playing it a bit late is that when I first played it, and I just got a 360. Now maybe this is new console-ness as well, but I remember the enemies looked photo-real. It was like, oh my fucking god, the graphics, that looks amazing. Like, they look like real people. They've squished real people in my screen. And then now they're actually quite low polygon considering where we've come in the past few years. So
yeah. You get the same sort of thing when you go back and play Rainbow Six. And I remember that going, oh my god, this looks amazing. And then going back to it and going, oh, this is hideous.
Although we said the same about GoldenEye, I suppose, at the time.
Yeah,
so it's just a constant moving object. Isn't
it? Once we get the new console era, we'll be looking back at games now and just going, oh my god, how did we ever play that? Just imagine laughing. At ourselves.
So we'll come back. If it's like really one of your favourites. See, I know you liked it, but I didn't realise it was like proper.
No, it is. I hold it up there as like one of my top 3 games that I've ever played.
Excellent.
Not because of what it represents more than what it is.
Yeah.
Because it was something so completely different.
Yeah.
And it was doing so many things that I'd never really had thought were possible, and making it so easy. It just completely changed my perspective on how games were played, and how to look at games as well, as you're playing through them. And there's only a few games that I've ever played like that have really ever sort of made me gone, whoa, actually, this is like a bit of a game changer.
Now, so it would be nice to go back and do this at some point as like an actual topic, maybe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like not to step on any toes, but it would be nice to just see what we think of the whole game once I finished it. But the massive problem I had is I run into a glitch. I'd got through maybe, it was what felt like a massive section, or maybe if I go back to it, it won't take me very long to do, but it felt like I got a long way, and then I glitched into an object and couldn't move. So it just gets me down having to go back and do all this stuff again once I've already worked my way through it, and now it's just sort of going through the motions. I'm not getting the actual gameplay anymore.
The thing is with that is you're talking to someone who likes driving games and will go round and round the track doing a time trial for hundreds and hundreds of laps just to get that kind of 1/100th of a second off a time. And I kind of saw Mirror's Edge a bit like that you were constantly running through the same level, trying to look for that perfect line through it to shave off X amount of time, or get through it in a slightly more perfect way. And that's where
I think you've hit on something there. Because if I was playing a driving game, I'd play that track enough times that I'd unlock either the next track or the car that I'd needed to unlock.
Yeah.
And then carry on from there. I wouldn't bother with the time trials. So yeah, you probably hit on exactly the nub of it.
Superb. Yeah, so talking of driving games, one of the other games I got this weekend.
You didn't?
Yes, I did.
Nice.
I got Need for Speed Most Wanted, mate. Had been weighing up Forza Horizon, and did the usual consumer thing of trying the demo out.
Yeah.
But did you see that thing online? It was on Penny Arcade, where it was this guy sort of breaking down why demos actually are a bad thing and actually stop you from in the main from buying games.
I haven't seen that, but I've seen the theory before.
Yeah, go get on there and have a look at it. But basically, that's what it did for me with Forza Horizon. because I know this is a complete departure from Need for Speed Most Wanted, but I will get back there and it will make sense.
No, they're both kind of like a lot of people are umming and ahhing as to which one to go for.
Yeah, and I really and I will preface this by saying I will be renting Forza Horizon to make sure that what I think is wrong with it is wrong with it. Yeah, so don't worry, this isn't just I'm reviewing a demo because that's stupid. But what I found in the demo for Forza Horizon was, when I was playing it, is because it's based on it's a toned down Forza Motorsport sort of engine. I was going into, and this is going to sound really fucking geeky, going into corners, the back would go out on the car, and there would be a point at which the envelope of grip, I would expect the car to snap and break out and spin and go.
Yeah.
But because they've toned that driving model down, there was like this weird elastic band effect where it felt like someone had like a big rubber band just sort of like something rubber pushing against the car just to hold it on that corner and keep it going round. And I'm like, well, the car should have gone now. Like, the car should have gone now. And it's still going. And it's still going. And it's still... Jesus Christ, how much have I got to push to make this car like spin? And all of a sudden it'd go, and it'd be like, wow, this is like... And it got to the point where I was finding it incredibly frustrating, because it was just, I felt like I was driving like a baby, you know.
Like you turned off all the assists in
Forza. I'd turned all the assists on, and I was driving in like kind of child mode, you know, like so I could give it to my little one to play, you know. And it was like, and then I turned simulation tyres, so I thought, right, well, okay, turn simulation tyres on, and that was like driving on a sheet of glass, and it was like so far the other way, it was beyond ridiculous.
The proper Forza games have like so many different sort of modulations you can make.
Yeah, exactly.
That you can tailor it. Whereas
you can turn the ABS. I mean, in that demo, you could turn all the ABS on and off, and I went through all the different permutations that I thought were right. And I could never settle on something that felt natural and right for Forza Motorsport game. And I just found, and I know this sounds really sad, but I found it quite offensive that it was had so many like sort of assists to help you around the corners, and like I wasn't having to really do much to get so much out of the car.
See, Ridge Racer helps you around the corners, like you're saying, but it never tries to pretend to be this proper driving game.
Exactly, and this is
difference.
Exactly, and it's that thing of like, and this is where Need for Speed Most Wanted comes in. Forza comes from a lineage of simulation racers, and it feels toned down. And I find that toning down to be offensive, because I want it to be more like the motorsport games. So it just doesn't feel right to me. But with the Need for Speed games, because it's coming from an arcade lineage, I want it. There is stuff in it that feels really kind of that there are assists happening, but they're nowhere near to the degree that Forza feels like it's putting on you. You know.
Yes.
So it was just, I just found it really like grating. So ended up getting.
You're a massive fan of Forza. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. So I'm always going to be a bit overly critical of it anyway. Plus, to be honest with you, what also put me off was the Keanu Reeves style woman who kind of goes, "Dude, you're like totally faster than a plane, wicked," and it's like, do I want to sit through that for like 8-9 hours? Did you learn nothing from Test Drive Unlimited, you developers? It was the same devs, but you'd think they'd know.
It was so achingly like hipster, like sort of hipster American, like kind of, this is totally rad, dude. Like, and I was like, I can't be dealing with this.
It's not the 90s anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So I ended up picking, like, obviously it's Criterion, Need for Speed Most Wanted. I'm really enjoying it. Right, it's a really well done game. It is, first thing to get out of the way, and I'm going to keep coming back to it is Burnout Paradise. It just is. I mean, there's whole sections of track that are just Burnout Paradise. There's the bridge with the 2 jumps in the middle, you know. There's the winding motorway road, the sort of the winding hillside road with the little cut off, you know, the little cut through in the middle of it to get, you know, so you can get through. You know, there's there's so many little sections of it that are just copy and pasted from Burnout Paradise.
It's funny because, like, obviously, you know, Des.
Yeah.
He was saying the same thing when he first played it in the week, that it feels like a sort of best of Burnout games.
Totally, man. I mean, like, you're going into multi-story car parks and going onto the roof and jumping off through billboards.
Oh, excellent.
You're going through an industrial port area, driving through warehouses, smashing through billboards, right? The only difference is rather than it being fake cars, that they're real cars and they have properties of, you know, semi-realistic properties of the cars, you know?
See, what I wanted was a cross between the first 4 Burnout games and Paradise. Is that kind of where it's...
I tell you what, at the moment, and I've played, because it tells you every time you turn it on how long you've played and how much you've completed. I've played it for like 5 hours and 27 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
So first 5 hours in, and it's feeling like someone went and mashed the old Most Wanted game with Burnout 3 Takedown.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, in a city like Burnout Paradise.
In a city like Burnout Paradise, yeah, exactly. Like, the racing is very much like Burnout Takedown, where you're just racing to the front and you're jostling, like you're constantly getting attacked and hit and jostling for position, and you think you're going to streak ahead, but someone comes in and clips that just wrenches the car left straight into you, takes you out, and drops you back to last place. That's in there, you know. But then what you've got is that you'll be hammering around a track, and all of a sudden the police will just pop out from nowhere. And not only are you racing against the other racers, but you've got the police chasing you as well, setting up roadblocks and just throwing in a spanner in the works, you know. And it's
did that not happen in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit though?
I believe it did, but I didn't play enough of that to really. I couldn't really tell you. I'd sort of played, you know, a few bits around a mate's house.
Right, I'm posting you that then, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Because that's the first criteria Need for Speed. So yeah.
But it's just weird, like kind of hammering through the city, and like with other cars, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, a police car will take you out, and one of the big complaints I have about it is it's incredibly twitchy. I mean, you'll go around a corner and you'll race the same race 6 times, and 3 times you'll hit this corner every time, and you won't have a problem, and you'll drift around it perfectly, and it'll feel amazing, and you'll catch it perfectly. But then, like, sort of out of 5 times, 3 of them you'll go around perfectly. 2 of them you'll hit the curb, the car will pop up in the air, and you'll have no control and go flying into the building opposite. But it's completely random. I mean, literally, you're talking about the difference between like a couple of mil left and a couple of mil right on that corner, and it's disaster or, you know, perfect, like, slide round the corner. And and you're going at such a rate of knots that you've got no way of correcting it.
I love that you complained about a game that, like, helps you too much when you're taking a corner.
Yeah.
And then one where you're like, oh damn, they didn't help me enough on that corner.
Oh, exactly. That's the thing. Is I don't want it to help me. I want it to feel like me having that. You know, I've done it with my skill.
And you don't want them throwing an obstacle in the way at the same time.
I mean, this is the thing, is that they do what they're doing is there's a lot of the races they're throwing in pre-scripted cars pulling out of junctions, like, that are on the racing line and stuff, and you've got, like, half the time you've got absolutely no chance of avoiding it.
Although I love the idea of scripted traffic though. Like, in the original Burnout games that worked so well.
But it seems like in this that they've really. I mean, they've really gone aggressive with it, and you've got to embrace. It's like, you know, when you listen to people talk about XCOM and they go, "Well, you've just got to embrace the fact that your people are going to die."
Yeah.
In this, you've just got to embrace the fact that you are going to crash, and you're going to crash a lot, right? Because you're not going to be able to avoid that car, or you're not going to, you know, unless you really slow down, or you're not going to be the first time around the track. You're not going to see the checkpoint because it whizzes past so quickly that you don't notice that it's on the left rather than go straight on. What this game desperately needs is the indicators from Burnout Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
Ticked on as you, because there'll be times in the pathing where you're hacking down the road, and the checkpoint is so ambiguous. It could be like, well, go left or go straight on. You don't really know. You fly past it. You look down at your mini map, and I was supposed to go left there, and that's it. Your race is gone.
But as it's a city, can you not just do your nice turn at the next junction and meet up with where the race should have been?
No, this is the thing: is you've got to go through that checkpoint, or the race is done.
Yeah.
So you've got to, come round, do a skid, like get back on track. But now you're so far
you're never
behind,
going to catch up.
You're never going to catch up. I mean, there is a bit of elastic banding that I've noticed.
Yeah.
You do get like kind of, I'm miles away from the car in front, and all of a sudden you seem to have this massive rocket boost of like speed out of nowhere, and
or they just like put on their brakes for a little while.
Yeah, and then you're right on top of them. But I mean, like I say, the racing is really close, and that you can make those cars absolutely dance. I mean, the amount of times I've been in a police chase and I've gone into a corner, handbraked it, just perfectly sort of held adrift, slid into a car park, drifted all the way around a multi-story spiral up to the top of a roof, jumped off. The police cars have jumped off and smashed into the ground, and then I've gone off. And then you go into a stealth section where the police go on a cool down, and then you can like hide in a little the multi-story car park, or hide in a little tunnel or something, or under a bridge,
and they won't find you.
And they won't find you. Like I had one where I've pulled into this factory, and I'm driving along the side of the factory, and the police car is on the other side of the building, and I'm trying to like not let him see me, and I'm just like sort of patrolling backwards and forwards behind this building, hoping that he cools down enough that I evade the police. And then you hear the chatter, barking chatter over the police radio. Call the police off, go in a search pattern or whatever. Yeah. And they're like, oh, this is brilliant. I've just this is a stealth section in a driving game.
Well, I can't think of line of sight being used for the AI in a driving game for the police.
Yeah,
and it sounds so obvious that it should have been done ages ago. But say in GTA, you can hide anywhere you like, but they will find you.
Yeah,
unless it's somewhere like really stupid. Do you know what I mean? But you can you can go behind a couple of hedges in this random set of flats, and they will find you.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice. You can.
See, I remember that from the old Most Wanted game. Is they had police helicopters, and you could park under things, and a helicopter could go into underpasses, and they wouldn't see you.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So it's kind of an extension of that. But it's just so nice to, like I say, just get into these like weird little stealth moments of like, right, well, if I park here, hopefully that'll be. They won't notice me as they drive past and stuff like that. It's brilliant. I really want to get involved in the multiplayer. I'm in a bit of a battle at the moment with one of my friends, just trading times on one particular course. and I'm getting to that point now where I'm getting that leaderboard itch that I always seem to get of like, oh, they've gone through that speed camera a bit quicker than me. Right, that's it. I'm going to go and get in this car. I'm going to upgrade it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to keep going backwards and forwards through this speed camera until I've beaten it. And it's like, I know that I'm going to either have to calm down on it or just embrace it and just go fully, just deep dive into this game and really just start doing every single...
Like trying to beat everyone.
And then become obsessive man on the game, and it's going to be like that, take over my life, and you won't hear from me again on the podcast.
See, I find it interesting that they've had no demo. Do you remember when the SSX demo launched? And we sort of posited the thing that is that all people want, because SSX hadn't sold very well.
Yeah.
And it was like, has the demo is that enough for people?
Yeah.
That they can race their mates and have it appear.
See, the thing is with Most Wanted, because it's an open world and there's no necessarily linear racing, I can't see how they would get over the idea that you're just thrown into a race.
Yeah, I guess. But a lot of sandbox games kind of...
you'd have to
if you say like 3 races and they cut off
you'd have to wall in a section and then do it like they do with Forza Horizon, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, maybe they just feel that they don't need to because of the name,
Yeah, possibly. It's interesting that they're dragging over so much of Burnout into Need for Speed as well. Like, I know they did with their last game, but if they're taking sections of the track, then
I mean it's quite scary. It's quite scary how much. So it's kind of like the best way I can describe it is like seeing someone in the street and you go, "Oh, Darren, how you doing, mate?" And then he turns around and it's not Darren that you've known for 10 years, and you go, "Oh, sorry, mate."
I know what you mean.
Yeah. You know, it's just it's that kind of thing of just like, this looks so similar, it's spooky, but it's not, exactly the same.
Not quite the same.
Yeah.
Because for the first 3 Burnout games, I don't know about the 4th, maybe they did as well, but there's sections of track lifted from Ridge Racer, Outrun, Daytona, other classic games.
Nice.
And like even sort of traffic patterns from Outrun are used in the first Burnout. Like what in Outrun was AI traffic because they had no choice. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like so low power they couldn't have them going anywhere they wanted. I think that's where Burnout got the idea from. Okay. And there's like whole sections of track lifted, but now Criterion have got enough of a heritage themselves to be able to borrow from their own games. Yeah. And put it in a new series. Not a new series, but new for them, sort of.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like from their own
to refresh an old franchise with it. Yeah.
Also, there's been talk about them actually being allowed to go back to Burnout as well, hasn't there? So.
Yes, and that's going to be very interesting. Seeing what I've seen in this, it's going to be very interesting to see how they move that series on.
That's the thing. Have they made them both too similar now with Burnout Paradise and this, or would they go back to the previous linear Burnout games?
I think there's something to be said for something that's so crazy and over the top.
Yeah.
That
like an Outrun 2 of Burnout.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like just taking everything and amping it up to like 11.
Going to an extreme. Yeah. Exactly. Because this still Need for Speed Most Wanted still feels like it's grounded in some form of reality. Yeah. But I mean, it's weird. It's very, in places, it feels like style over substance as well, because there's no kind of story as such. It's just like you go into a race, and then you get like a really stylized like intro sequence, and then it just camera pans in, bang, you're behind the car, and away you go. But some of them are absolutely stunning. Like one of them, it makes the car like I think it was the Shelby Cobra. Makes the car up out of tiny little fragments of plastic, and they're all sharp bits of plastic, and they all come together to make the car. Then the car spins round, and then it's driving down a street, and then you're in the road, and then you're off, and it's like, wow, that looks beautiful. That looks like some mad Honda like car ad.
Yeah, wow.
But it serves no purpose other than to look really cool for that 30 seconds before a race.
And I'm so shallow, you've actually sold me on the game with that.
No, it's brilliant, honestly. Like I said, it's really, really stylish. Really stylish. There's some lovely touches, but does feel like it needed something to bind all the elements together.
That'll be the DLC.
Yeah, maybe. But there's part of me that wants it to just be like Razor Callahan, and you're going up the most wanted list, and really bad FMV sequences and a stupid story.
It sounds like you really enjoy going around the drifts, like drifting around corners and stuff, right, in racing games. Please, go on. If you really like drifting around the corners and that, then please try Ridge Racer 2 or maybe 1, but 2's got more content on the PSP on your Vita.
Yeah.
Like you can go 980 degrees through some turns. Do you know what I mean? Like you carry on.
Yeah.
The weird thing is you don't carry on stopping rotating through the curve, but it still helps you round it.
It's almost like you've got a carousel underneath the car that kind of.
Yeah, it's like so arcadey. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then you try and pull off at least a 360 on every curve throughout the game, and then it becomes this sort of like meta game for yourself. Like, oh damn, I did a lap, but I didn't manage to do a 720 on each turn. And yeah. I think you'll like that, man.
Yeah, I'll have to. Yeah, it's one of those ones where I always looked at it and I just thought it was so cheesy. It was like off-putting. But maybe I should. Maybe I should try it.
The series, then maybe not. Yeah.
Cool. So what else have you been playing, then, man?
We've been droning on for ages, but I will quickly mention that if you haven't got Carmageddon on iOS yet, now it's another one that I played as it was Halloweeny. I thought
you're welcome, by the way. Because that's my Kickstarter money in that.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, you've given that to me for free. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right, mate.
And if you didn't play it back in the day, then I don't know if it will feel a bit 90s. I've seen a lot of the reviews that people like. I'm guessing it's the younger generation of gamers.
Yeah.
Are saying that it feels so old-fashioned, but to me, it really doesn't. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of a cross between, say, if you haven't played it before, it's like a cross between Burnout maybe and GTA and a gory run over zombies.
Well, Mortal Kombat, to be honest with
you. A lot like Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I was going to say that, and I thought that sounds stupid. And then, sorry, I'm not saying that you're stupid.
No, that's fine, mate. I understand.
You know what I mean? I was like,
be like
it's like Mortal Kombat. But yeah, it is. It's that kind of nice.
It's lots of jibbing and yeah.
But the actual gameplay itself is still quite modern, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's, for me, like everyone always raves about Twisted Metal as being the car combat game.
Oh, that's dreadful compared to Carmageddon.
Exactly, and Carmageddon I always felt was a little bit more simplistic, but there was a lot more depth in as much as you could. It was all about the way you positioned your car and you got yourself into.
Twisted Metal's like combat driving, whereas Carmageddon is driving combat.
Yeah,
and like, how open are the levels? Like,
oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, they're massive, and you can go anywhere, and you're not. They're obviously like on the race levels. There is obviously checkpoints that you have to go through. Yeah. But yeah, you can get there in any way, shape, or form you like.
Also, you can even go through no checkpoints and just take out all your opponents by cutting them off. But like, if they're going through the checkpoints, you know they're going to hit there. So if you come up and sideswipe them as they're getting to the checkpoint, then job done.
No, exactly. I mean, what I found with the iOS version. I've been playing it on the iPad, so I've had a big bit of real estate to play it on. But I found the controls incredibly tight for touchscreen controls.
Yeah, I found the same on my iPod Touch. So I think it's just that they've done it right.
Yeah, it feels like they've put a lot of time into that and really kind of tried to make it feel right. It doesn't feel like whenever you play with touch controls in a driving game, it always feels like there's a bit of lag between your button press and it actually doing it. Whereas this feels pretty much like an instant digital kind of, straight away thing.
Yeah, I will add the caveat that there's lots of different driving styles or options of how you can play and control it.
Yeah.
But
true.
Yeah, I changed it before I actually played it. Then I went back to the default and it's like, yeah, actually your default is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, pretty spot on. I mean, if any other driving game took those controls and just ripped them off, that'd be brilliant.
Yep.
So yeah, I was really impressed with it actually. I was expecting it to be a little bit cobbled together, but it's not. It's actually a very, very well made game.
The funny thing is, playing it on my iPod Touch, like I think of the size of my iPod Touch compared to the Pentium 200 plus monitor plus keyboard that I used to need to play that game. And
it was
this is like
proper chopper.
Less than say 1% of the volume of that tower PC. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Exactly, it's mental,
absolutely crazy, like how far we've got, and I think maybe it is partly the nostalgia that's driving us. But again, when the new one comes out that you've kickstarted, like hopefully, like the younger generation, like it will feel more of a modern game, won't it? Like,
make more sense.
And people will say, "Oh yeah, you're right, like, that was a good game." So.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, it's not free now, by the way. Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's not free now, but it's worth whatever it costs. Yeah, like unless it's at Square Enix prices. But like, if it's under £3, then
it was free for the first day, because people had kickstarted it. That was the only way they could distribute the iOS version.
Well, to give it wouldn't even be on the iOS if it wasn't for the Kickstarter working for the next one either, would it? So,
exactly.
Yeah. So all thanks to you, basically.
Me. Yeah, it was all me and me only. Honest. Right, anyway, so is that it, man?
I reckon it should be. God blimey, we've gone
on a bit long.
Cool, well in that case I'll speak to you in a couple of minutes.
Alright then, break! Evening, mate. Get the Xbox on. I picked up Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh, nice one, dude. Did you get the collector's edition with the little plastic Connor toy?
Nah, not that one. Anyway, it's a statuette, not a toy.
Yeah, same difference. So you got the limited edition with the postcards and the soundtrack CD?
Nah, that version was sold out.
Oh, so it's the Join or Die edition in that special box with the USB bracelet.
What would I want a USB bracelet for? The only person who'd want to record my wrist movements is my missus, and I don't want her to know I've been watching that much Babe Station.
Fair point. You didn't go for the biggie then, did you?
Which one's that?
The Ultimate Ultra Eden Enhanced Codex Collector's Limited Lineage Animus Schmanimus Premium Extremium Desmond Tutu Shiny and Frou-Frou Edition.
What did that come with?
Oh, nothing extra. Just a massive box to fit the name on.
Ah, well, no, not that one.
Steelbook?
I wouldn't steal a car, I wouldn't steal a handbag, I wouldn't steal a television. So why would I steal a book?
No, steal bookcase.
Well, if I'm not prepared to steal a book, why am I going to steal a bloody bookcase?
So which version did you get then?
I got the rarest edition of them all.
Oh, wow. Which one's that then?
The standard retail boxed copy. Turns out there's only 30 copies in existence. I'll pass it down through the generations of my family. It'd be worth a fortune. You know, as long as those dirty thieving Templars don't get their hands on it.
And we're back. And as usual, we're going to have a little look at the news. Now, this is not much of a newsy story, I suppose, but it caught my eye because I'm a bit of a Mega Drive geek. Now, there's a new handheld Mega Drive that's just been announced in the States. And hopefully we're going to get it over here as a Blaze handheld because the company that are releasing it seem to work with Blaze. Now,
Is this a company that has licensed something off Sega, or is it...
Yeah, it's totally official.
Yeah.
It's the company called At Games, and I think it might just be the American arm of Blaze over here.
Okay.
They've released a few handheld Mega Drives in the past, and some people have had problems with the emulation of it. But the fact that you're getting a portable Mega Drive with a bunch of built-in games for like $60, so what's that, like 40 quid?
40 odd, yeah, 50 quid.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But the interesting thing with this one is it's got a really rare game included as one of the built-in games.
Oh, right.
Now it's Mega Man: The Wily Wars, which was a compilation of Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 from the NES, but upgraded to Mega Drive graphics.
All right, cool.
But in the States, that only ever got released on the Sega channel. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, it was like their kind of download internet service.
Yeah, an old internet download service.
Yeah.
How bizarre is that? Like you could get a modem for your Mega Drive. But they released a few games exclusively on that never got boxed retail releases, and this is one of them. So it's quite a smart move on behalf of At Games to have sort of licensed this from Capcom. And then another little bit of smart stuff is that alongside that exclusive game, there's a bunch of games that Sega have never re-released in the past. I know they've re-released so many of their games, but there's some great ones that have never got a re-release.
No, not seen the light of day, just been locked away in the vaults.
Yeah, and they've put a whole bunch of those on here. Now, the standout ones for me are there's Crackdown. Not the. It's not like an old 16-bit version of the Sandbox.
I was going to say you're not running. Yeah, you're not running across rooftops trying to find orbs, no.
No. But it's a top-down sort of gauntlet-y almost game where you're going around defusing bombs. Sadly, it only uses about a quarter of the screen on the Mega Drive. Like the top half of the screen is your scores and stats, and even if you're playing single player, it keeps a window there for the second player. So,
nice.
So yeah, not the greatest conversion, but again, the arcade machine did exactly the same.
Gotcha.
And then It's also got Eternal Champions, which was Sega's answer to Street Fighter 2 back in the day.
Right.
It's got it's a bit janky compared to Street Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat 2, but a lot of people rate it really, really highly. So again, it's one people haven't had a chance with.
These like games that have never seen the light of day. Is there some collector somewhere cursing these guys because like he's got some? Someone got like a prototype cartridge that like somewhere that they're like sitting on thinking, oh, this is going to be worth something, and now these guys have just completely usurped it, or is this like like really hidden stuff that's?
Well, it's they're not amazingly rare games. It's just that they're rare in terms of like never been available for download, and also it's a double-edged sword when they do this because often if it's a game that's been forgotten, it being re-released on something like a handheld increases the awareness of it, and people start going looking for the cartridges again. So it can there's been cases where it's caused a rise in the demand and therefore the price. So yeah, not in every case, but
it has been known.
Yeah. Oh, you also get Shadow Dancer on it. Do you remember that?
I remember that. Yeah, dog. That was the one with the dog. Yeah. I used to love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Peter Molyneux thinks Fable 2 was original for the dog. I don't know. So yeah, I'm going to possibly be looking out for this, and it takes an SD card. So if you've got any legally owned ROMs, you can whack them on there as well.
So you can add your own stuff as well to it.
Yeah,
nice.
It's only a 2.8-inch screen, so it's going to be a tiny little thing. But
you're going to be straining your eyes.
yeah. But then I think screen size makes like the pixel graphics look really, really nice. So
yeah, sweet.
Yeah, so I'm going to be getting one of them. Now, something that you were interested in earlier this year is the space shooter Strike Suit Zero from Born Ready Games. Now, they ended up going on to Kickstarter to try and finish funding for the game, and last week they hit their goal. So
superb.
Yeah. So
how much did they? How much were they looking for, and how much? What are they up to at the moment? I'm imagining it's still ongoing.
It is. Yeah. There's still about a week and a half left to go. The goal was $100,000, and then obviously there's going to be some stretch goals. And if they get to 130,000, there's going to be like mod tools available.
Oh, right, okay.
Like for people to sort of, I don't know, for people to mod it with the developers sort of express consent rather than having to do it sort of by the side routes and stuff.
So if you're really into the mod scene, then it's well worth kind of jumping in on this at the moment. Then
I like if you are into that kind of thing and you're a big PC gamer, it might be worth a few quid just to help them hit that.
Yeah, nice.
And that's not all. There's an even bigger stretch goal. If they hit 180 grand, they're going to be making it for Mac and Linux as well as PC. So you'll be able to play it at work, man.
Oh, superb, man. I'll be able to play it at work and sit there windowing it so I can hide it from the boss and that.
Yeah, make sure you minimise it before he comes round.
Hello, Lee, by the way. I know you listen, so sorry about that, mate.
Yeah, you won't be playing that at work, will you?
No, not at all. Not. Only in the lunch hour.
I think we got you covered, mate.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So you got a chance to play this at Eurogamer, right?
Yes, mate. Yeah, I had a quite a long go on it, and it was really, really good. I found it really difficult though, because they had it on a proper flight stick. So not only did you have the kind of forward, backwards, left, right kind of full range of movement, but it also had the twist left and right on the actual stick itself. So you could twist from the wrist. So you could literally physically twist the robot side to side as well as forward and back. So it was really weird trying to kind of go into a dive and twist your wrist to kind of get an extra bit of turn and stuff on. I was finding it really difficult to kind of dogfight with like all the different crafts and stuff. Yeah, it was really.
Now I know they want to show off the game as to what they think is the best way for them to sort of promote it.
Yeah.
But would you have gone with say keyboard and mouse or a dual analog instead? Just for the purposes of showing it off at Eurogamer.
Yeah, showing it off at Eurogamer, I think I would have gone with a stick because I could see it felt more intuitive. I think with the mouse and keyboard, because the movements are so quick, it didn't. I think I'd like end up getting my fingers like all, or get all thin fingers and thumbs and kind of lose all the keys and just go, I can't play this. At least with the stick, it's just one arm and you're kind of contorting it into crazy positions.
Also, I suppose they're going for that sort of flight simmy,
exactly,
space sim market, aren't they?
So. And it was a lot. I was having difficulty kind of leading the targets, and it was one of those ones where you're sort of sat down and, like with all those demos at Eurogamer, you sort of sat down and you've got like 20 minutes or so to play the demo, but then you've got a queue of people all standing around watching you, putting you right under pressure, and like I'm not brilliant at that at the best of times. Like
when you were playing Assassin's Creed 3, man, I felt then because there were like two people dressed as like characters from the game.
Yeah, I had Altai. No, it wasn't Altai. It was Connor and Ezio stood like on either shoulder, and then I had like the guy who was like running the lines standing over my shoulder watching, and then I probably had it must have been a good like 20-30 people in the line.
Yeah, all staring over my shoulder. Console Ninjas, who's a massive Assassin's Creed fan.
Yeah, exactly. Well. And but no pressure. Just get on and play, and get really immersed in it. So, mate, honestly, I
admired your patience, though. I probably would have thrown the pad by that point, which you can't really do at an expo.
No, mate. Yeah, just get up and storm, rage quit.
Oh wow! Talking of Assassin's Creed 3, man.
Yes, mate.
With this Strike Suit Zero story, the guy who tipped over to the $100,000 for the goal was the lead designer of Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh, right, Steve sweet. Nice. Now,
I'm thinking, again, this is one of Dan's speculative conspiracy theories, that with Assassin's Creed 3 launching last week, I reckon he kept looking at that Kickstarter until he knew that he'd be the one to tip it over, and then went click.
Yeah, I'm the guy to tip it over. Yeah, that's a great news story.
Subtle bit of PR for Assassin's Creed. Yeah. And I'm the one that helped you get that game. That kind of feel.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice to see like devs all like helping each other out and like, spotting a bit of talent and trying to, push it on. That's pretty cool.
We always use the word community, and that's kind of what it should mean, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Another community-minded story is that 343 Studios and Microsoft have announced there's going to be lifetime bans for people that use sexist insults in Halo 4.
Right.
Hello, listeners. It's only me. Now, what you would have been listening to now is the story about there being bans for sexism in Halo 4. But a few hours after we recorded the show, Microsoft put out a statement saying that there's not going to be bans specifically for sexism. From reading between the lines, it looks like this is because they came under a bit of fire for concentrating on one type of abuse rather than all kinds of abuse. So what they've said is they've got zero tolerance on Xbox Live for not only sexism, but racism, homophobia, and any other kinds of general nastiness you get on the net. Anyway, just letting you know that, and on with the show.
Yeah.
A quick mention that this reminded me of a site that a lot of people are going to know this already, but have you ever been to whywasibanned.com?
No, but it sounds amazing.
It is. It's people from forums who've like complained to Microsoft. Like, why did I get banned? I'm such a nice, lovely player. And then obviously Microsoft have got all the records of why. And then they sort of, it's just the Microsoft forum moderators coming back to them and saying, well, it's because you cheated on this game. It's because you called this guy whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a really, really funny little site. So that's
amazing.
whywasibanned.com. Go there and have a look.
I'll have to check that out. That sounds
It's wicked. A proper laugh.
Excellent.
Now, this next one isn't really so much of a news story as a little bit of a personal gripe. So sorry for sneaking this into the news section. But now, Nuketown was quite a popular map in Call of Duty Black Ops, and it's going to be coming as a pre-order bonus for free with Black Ops 2 as Nuketown 2025.
Right.
But there's been a lot of complaints, not just on Twitter, but on the forums and on comment sections, that, it's just the same as the old map with a lick of paint. Now, this is a map in a deathmatch shooter. I don't know, why would you want that changed? Like, the reason it is a map is because people know it and love it. So.
Yeah, it's kind of a beloved thing, and you're getting it for free. So, are you expecting it to... I mean, I know Black Ops 2 is like slightly more futuristic, but the layout's still got to be the same. And, all you can really do then after that is sort of kind of change... You can't really change the geometry. So you can tie it up and give it a lick of paint and... That's about it, all
that's
the
what you
lines
can
of
do,
sight are there, and it's.
At least they have given it a lick of paint. There's
I mean, the only other way around that would be to create a completely new map and
give it the same name, but then
it's not.
It's not the same map, is it?
That seemed like a very strange argument to me, but
I wonder what that map's going to cost if you didn't get it as your free pre-order bonus, though. I'm guessing it's going to come as a day one map pack or something.
Yeah, but. It's one of those ones where it's like the only people who are buying that are people who want to play with their mates like once, and it's like, we're all on Nuketown. Oh, you haven't got it. I'll just quickly buy it because I can't see, because the people who want that map or that into the game are just going to buy it as a pre-order anyway.
Yeah. Also, I don't think it was an especially good map. To be fair, now it was well loved, and I've had some great games on it, but structure-wise and design-wise. it's nothing special. Like,
Right.
I'm looking forward to the new maps in the game more than recycled ones.
Yeah. Well, I'm. This is the year I say no more. No more. I'm standing firm that's it for Call of Duty for me, I think.
You've still not played your Modern Warfare 3, is that right?
Nope, still got it. Still in the shrink wrap. Haven't touched it. It's but then again, I'm thinking of starting the 12 Days of Shootmas, where I'm gonna basically break out over Christmas, like break out like Battlefield 3 single player and Modern Warfare 3 single player, and just find all the shooters that I haven't played that I've got in my in my in my pile of shame, and then just go through them. So.
And also, it's what Jesus would have wanted, isn't it, at Christmas? Like,
oh yeah, he was all about love and harmony and shooting everyone in the face.
Now we've got a little bit of sad news here. Now this seems to have anyone that's listened to the show. This seems to be a recurrent theme, but it's only because it keeps on happening. The PS Vita has had its worst week ever in Japan. I swear we've said it's had its worst week ever in Japan about 3 or 4 times so far, but this one really is low. It's a real shame for Sony because it's a lovely machine. Like, we've both got a vested interest.
Yeah,
totally. We're both Vita owners, and you just want to see it do well. But it sold 5,806 units. Now,
this is in Japan,
in Japan, this is, yeah. Now, the 3DS sold just over 61,000, so it's outselling it by more than 10 to 1. And even the original PSP is outselling it by almost 3 to 1. Now, the original PSP, that's a pretty old console by now. I thought everyone in Japan already had one because of Monster Hunter, so maybe they're just keeping backups. I need a spare PSP for my Monster Hunter just in case. I can't miss out on Monster Hunter for like 2 minutes.
Me and my friend who get on the train into work wants to play it. Yeah, and I've got one for my kid as well.
Yeah. And like one for the dog and
exactly.
Whoever else. Now, I've started to see Vita adverts appearing on telly for the run up to Christmas.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that can do Sony quite well, and I'm hoping it's not too little, too late. But
well, the thing is that they've released some pretty marquee games this holiday. You've got Little Big Planet, you've got the Assassin's Creed game.
Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Need for Speed Most Wanted. Yeah,
it's like a couple of points below the console versions, but for a handheld, it's meant to be fantastic.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just to name a few. So, like, if you look at it as a Christmas pickup, I think that you might see those numbers go up, but I can't see them going through the roof over Christmas. But you never know. I mean, they've given themselves every opportunity to kind of establish a base on over holiday. Definitely.
Fingers crossed. And for any sort of JRPG fans out there, Persona 4 Golden looks like it's going to be an absolute stormer of a game on Vita.
Yeah,
stormer of a game on Vita.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that game because. Like I've been saying to you, like I've been holding off because I was going to buy it on the PS2, and you were like, no, like the Golden Edition's coming, trust me. So I've just been like it's one of the only games that I'm really hyped for. Like I've been reading out, like one of the only games I've been reading up on, and like yeah, definitely. And like after watching the Giant Bomb playthrough of it, like I haven't watched all of it because I didn't want to give it too much away. But like that's the game I can see myself putting some serious hours to on the train.
What was the last JRPG you played, man?
It was Dragon Quest IX when I went away to Cyprus.
Yeah.
Sat around by the pool playing Dragon Quest IX. And to be honest with you, that is an amazing game. Really is good. I've always found like I'm not very well versed in RPGs and stuff like that. And I always find like sort of Final Fantasy, the kind of the different systems I find quite complicated and they're not very well explained. And you have to either go to a FAQ to kind of get the ins and outs of it, or you know someone who knows like everything to do with it.
Or you read the interminable help screens that never quite explain it quite as well as you want.
Yeah, exactly. So, but with Dragon Quest IX, I found it really just everything was really simple and explained really well, and it's a lovely little story, and it's really light, and I just found it a really, really welcoming experience.
Did you play Dragon Quest VIII on the PS2?
No. I'd never played a Dragon Quest game, but I'd heard so many good things about it that I picked a copy of it up, and I'd really recommend it as one of those games like for people who've never played a JRPG before to pick up, because it really does kind of help you through the game and make it very accessible.
See, I know it's on the original DS, but if I got a 3DS, that would be one of the first games I got for it, I think.
Yeah, totally, man. It's brilliant. It really is good.
Yeah, 8 is kind of the same thing, where it's very traditional. It's a very trad RPG, but there's so few of those around now that it feels like a breath of fresh air rather than, oh, it's old type game.
Yeah.
It actually feels new because it's so old and so underdone. And finally, we've got this lovely Mass Effect doll that's just been released. Now,
Yes.
it's a Shepherd doll released by Kai. And now, you know what these collectible toys are like, all you people at home. They're
statuettes.
Statuettes of the models in the game. And what I'd love to try and find is a picture that scans from the feet upwards with this, because like the boots are really well modeled, and then its armor's really well modeled, and the hands are like really well detailed, and then you get to the face and it's like this weird melted Hispanic guy.
Yeah, well, it kind of looks like part Kanye, part kind of melted waxwork.
Yeah, sort of like Freddy Krueger meets Kanye West.
Yeah, it's weird. Just it's almost as though the guy got to the head and went, "Can't do heads." Just stick something on there. No one will notice.
Either that, or the designer forgot that in his game of Mass Effect, he'd like changed the face.
Yeah.
Why don't they just go with Canon Shepherd that everyone knows?
It's really weird. It's properly odd. It's like you've gone into so much detail, and then to just stuff it up on, probably the most important bit, Yeah.
The eyes are the window to the soul, aren't they? So
yes.
But obviously it's difficult to express how ugly and weird this is on a podcast.
Yeah.
But if you look up.
I'll tell you what I'll do is I will put it in the show notes on the website.
Oh yeah, excellent, because people need to see this just because it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Fantastic.
Now we've had a question come through from Sir Moni Phipps on the old Twitters. He's asked us, do you guys prefer downloading old games or going into game to get a copy on disc? Now, other retailers are available, of course.
Yes, exactly. So what do you think he means by old games? Do you mean like start of this generation?
I think he means that, because you're not going to go into game for, say, one of those retro re-releases from the 90s. So I guess that's what he means. And in terms of, say, Xbox On Demand, now the only games that I've picked up for download are ones that are notoriously expensive on disc.
Yeah.
Such as the Tales of game. Now, I think it was, say, 20 quid on Xbox Live, whereas the disc version was still going for like 40, 45 at the time. So for me, it comes down to sort of that cost issue.
Totally.
There is convenience there as well. But if you're getting a combination of cost and convenience, then I would download it. But
it's
something
weird.
Just go and buy for 20 quid in the supermarket. I'm not going to pay 45 on Xbox for it.
No, see, I'm very much one for. I love going around and hunting for like bargains in like all the different stores in the town or whatever, Yeah. Like my missus goes off shopping, and then like I go, right, I'll see you in 10 minutes, and then that's it. I'll go and do my little kind of trawl through all the pre-owned sections, and
it's
all
good
that.
fun, that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's great fun. But like
in our price, like flicking through the CDs, you get
exactly.
Like, I'm guessing your fingers are tuned to be able to flicking those boxes really quickly.
Yeah, properly quick. Yeah. And then, and being able to see like where someone's hidden one because they want to like keep it for later.
Didn't want you to see it.
Yeah, exactly. But like I like doing that, but it all comes like it's like anything. It all comes down to price, doesn't it? If you can get it for like £3 cheaper online, then I'll get it online. It doesn't bother me that I don't have the physical copy. But the only time I ever really download anything is for convenience, and it's like I'm finding this with the Vita at the moment that like I want to get the Metal Gear Solid collection. Now I could download it, but it's going to take up a fair bit of space on my chip because I haven't got a big chip on there. So I'm now having to go out to somewhere and try and find it like as the actual proper retail game, because it's roughly about the same price.
Yeah, it's a good price on both as well, isn't it? It's about
exactly.
Now
it's about 22, I think. 22, 23.
24 to download from PSN, which is I think it's the same as the retail price, but
exactly.
The retail copies have come down now. I've seen it for like 15 to 18.
Yeah, they're sort of price matching it. So like, it it's convenient. I would love to download it because it's convenient. I don't have to leave the house and I can be as antisocial as I want to be. but like I think that you've got to go and every now and then you've got to go into shops and kind of bag those bargains, man, and just like have a bit of fun and feel like you.
It's just part of that shopping experience, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Another interesting thing with that Metal Gear Solid HD collection is they've split the game in half for download on Vita as well, haven't they?
Yes.
Like say you only wanted
2.
3, yeah. Then you can just get that for like $12.99, which I think is quite a smart way of having done.
Very clever, very clever. So the thing is, that's tempted me as well, and I'm like, no, I'd rather get them both. It's like, but then I'm thinking, yeah, but just get one, and then you're only going to play one at a time. You're not going to play them both of them. Like it's weird the little conversations I have in my head on the train.
The problem is, as soon as you do that, like you'll buy one and then they'll put the price of the collection down by $5.
Yeah,
and then you'll have paid like way over the odds for half the game. So.
Yeah, totally, man, totally. Having that little like devil and angel and one on either shoulder. Go on, buy it. Just buy the one on its own. It'll be fine. Don't get that. It's not a great deal.
Now, another side to this is if he does mean old games, as in say like
proper retro
Saturn or Dreamcast re-releases or PS1 games, then I'd pretty much always go for the download over the disc copy. I think.
Is that because of like the kind of Steam situation of it will be a properly patched and best frame rate version and blah 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 and
and it's going to look nicer in HD and all that kind of stuff, and partly because some of the games are sort of quite awkward to find. You'd have to like have a little hunt on eBay, and
well, also there's that convenience as well of like not having to drag. I mean, it's lovely to drag all the old kit out, and I've like been doing it with the Dreamcast recently, but like having to drag it all out from the cupboard or whatever, or from underneath the telly, hook it all in, mess about for 10-20 minutes, getting it all sorted, get it working, blow all the dust off, or you could just go click download.
Yeah,
and that's it. It's there. Yeah, job done. So yeah, that's definitely a convenience thing. I think for those kind of retro games, if you can get it, then I think that's the way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah. So Jeremy's final summary is that it's a cost between cost and convenience.
Yeah, man. It's on a case by case basis, and that's sitting on the fence.
We're quite good at answering questions like that, aren't we?
Yeah, mate. Let's just.
I hope we've covered a few different angles on that. Now, we both want to say a big thank you to John Cranston, aka Jonas Maximus, host of the excellent Monkey Chunk Show, for his lovely review on iTunes.
Yes, mate. Thank you so much.
That was a really lovely surprise, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was weird because I must have had some kind of weird sixth sense thing, and I was just checking through the iTunes reviews because I was being incredibly vain at work, and he'd literally put it on that day. So yeah, that was just really weird coincidence that I hadn't checked them for like a few months, and then gone on there, and there it was that day. Like he'd put a review on, so that was amazing. So thank you so much. That's really
that really sort of boosted us. So
and the thing is as well is from having a review, a nice review like that from someone who does such a great show as well. Like that's always really, really, like you say, a really big boost, isn't it?
Yeah,
it makes you feel really good. So thanks, mate. You made my day.
Yeah, defo. And if you want to put a review on iTunes, we'd muchly appreciate it. And if you've got any questions that you want us to answer on the show, feel free to tweet us at the AIBots, or you can email us.
email@theaibots.com.
And I think that's about that, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, if you want to email us, you can go to the website. We've got a link on there, and that'll email us directly. So you
can just put in a comment or feedback or a question in the little box, and we'll be able to get it that way too.
And the address for that is www.theaibots.com.
Ta-da!
Na-na.
Oh, I think that's a show, isn't it?
Yes, mate. Let's get the hell out of here.
Good stuff. In that case, I'll speak to you in the next week.
Yes, mate.
And have a good time till then.
Have a good one. All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.